our debut, and we're so excited. We kind of were yapping away, so maybe we should bring some
straight place. All over.
Yeah, it was
my rewind. My rewind sounds like my air horn.
It's all bad. I don't know if you can be our sound effects man.
I was born a man, not an air horn or a rewind.
Listeners, family, viewers, friends of the show. Y'all are our friends.
Neighbors, haters.
Neighbors is it. I like neighbors.
We're creating a neighborhood.
I like neighbors.
We got a neighborhood.
I like that. Neighbors, I have been trying to teach Big Ev over here the air horn sound. That's crazy. But me and all my friends call you Big Ev.
That's all right. I'll be Big Ev.
Yeah, you're our OG. So I've been trying to teach.
To all of
I've been trying
to all the people that's coming to this platform because they've seen me on a public stage someplace. You're going to see some things that you didn't know about me. And you're going to see sides of me shades of me that you didn't know existed.
To all the saints.
All the saints in the place say, ho.
That knew me from the church house. Hey now. Hey now. Listen. You're not about to clip that up. This is a righteous man on and off camera. Hello.
Okay. Come on, glory. Glory.
Let's telling people what we got going on because I feel like we could do this banter.
We need to let the people know we're excited. We're excited. And this is our first drop for Poddin with Dad. A concept that came up in the heart of that lovely young woman that you see next to me. Yeah.
That you hear. If you're not tuned into the visual, though, tap in with us.
Well, let me tap in with us. To all you single men, let me describe her to you.
Oh, brother.
Well, they said there was pee in the water. I don't know the pool or the water. I don't know. So listen, I gotta help strain stuff up here.
Oh, brother. Listen, we're going to talk about dating on this platform that is known as Podding with Dad. We're going to get candid about dating, lies, disappointment. We're going to laugh. I'm going to cry because I'm a crier. One thing about me, I'm going to shed a tear.
He's going to cry.
So, I might cry. He might be like, why are you crying?
I don't know. The jury is still out.
The jury is still out, but I'm very excited for us to be.
They found him guilty. Shut your mouth. But we ain't right now. Listen, nothing is off the table.
Nothing, literally.
The Republicans, the Democrats, the Independent, Tea Party, Coffee Party, Juice Bar, Mocha House, nothing is off limits.
The saints, the sinners,
and the AIDS. And the cane.
Paints? Is there such a thing?
Some folks can.
No, because everybody can come to Christ. We hope you do.
Everybody can.
But not everybody will. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
You can't come no place until you leave someplace. Right there.
Now, it's gonna be a lot of noteworthy moments because my dad is the type of person he gets in this flow.
Did I say you were my favorite daughter?
I'm your only daughter.
I want you to know that you're my favorite daughter in all the world.
I'm also your only daughter, so that changes.
That changes the dynamics?
A little bit.
How come you just couldn't stick with my favorite? You had to add something too.
You know what's crazy? I've been hearing lately that I be doing too much and I be dragging, So just like how I do.
And I had some little children out there.
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying, just you see how I flipped that?
Huh?
You see how I flipped that? You said I'm your favorite. I said well, I'm your only. I've been told I do that a lot. I'm trying to work on that.
Quit flipping.
Quit flipping.
Flip-flopping on this show. You better not wear open-toe shoes. Put on your steel-toe boots.
I'm a little flip-flopper sometimes, though.
Things may get messy.
Things are going to get messy. Good way, though. In a good way.
Good way.
Why are we here?
We're
here we're here because I want to say, what was it? Like maybe a year ago? My concept of time is all off, but maybe a year ago, no more than 2 years, I would say, to be safe. I approached you and I was like, I think that we should maybe do a podcast, but we've always said that we should work on some type of creative project together because we love using our brains creatively. We love the arts.
I was done when you were creative.
What? But then you had Elijah.
That's some of my best work. Go ahead.
I approached my dad about this because if you know me in real life, if you are an acquaintance, a friend, if you've ever just heard me talk for more than 5 minutes, chances are you've heard me find a way to loop my dad into the conversation. He's just a huge part of my life, a huge part of my heart. And we do have a cool relationship where we talk about a lot and we share a lot. So it's easy for me to bring you up because
TMI, too much information sometimes.
So?
Huh?
You think so?
Ooh. I'll say this. From my perspective, I never thought that I would have this kind of relationship with one of my offspring. I didn't give a lot of thought to becoming a father.
You're trying to dive in.
I'm too focused on leaving the player life and becoming a husband.
Really?
Yeah.
No, when I'm saying really, I'm not being funny in the sense of like, so you were more so when you would envision life changes, milestones, you're thinking more husband. You never really thought about this is the type of dad I want to be, blase, skip.
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to find someone that I could love and be faithful to.
That's interesting because I think I always kind of probably think more about being a mom than like married.
Yeah. Mm. That's what you say, Sean.
I don't mean it. I don't mean it in that sense. But what I'm saying is, I've always had like, as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a mom, even as a kid.
Well, that's most women. That's most women.
I'm saying I've always given thought to I'd be this type of mother. I think about the type of wife I would be. But I do think a lot about, and maybe it's because I work with kids too, that I just have like this love for kids. Anyways, so you were saying that you never thought about kind of that sort of thing, which means you never thought about having a TMI type of relationship with one of their offspring.
I never knew what kind of relationship I would have with my children. Because, most times when you're young and you're growing up, you see things in your parents and you don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And you always want to try to build and better the relationship with your children.
Hi, Grandma.
You got it. Now listen, I love my parents. They poured into me what they had to give me. And they gave me enough to get me where I am. And that's something for all of you all who are listening. If nothing else, your parents got you here on earth. Now take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We can't look back and make excuses because there's no perfect parent. And if there was, which was God was the only perfect parent, and his children still screwed up.
And still are.
But we ain't going to talk about that right now.
Actively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we're here to drop our first episode.
We're in the thick of things now.
Oh, we're in the thick of it. I don't know. I've never.
We're in the Texas with it now. Well, no, I'm saying. I think so because I was in the process of introducing everything, but then you said something that was interesting about how you never expected. We were talking about how open our dynamic is, how we can talk about pretty much anything. Now, let me say this disclaimer. Although we could talk about anything, there is a lot of things that I respectfully don't bring to my parents, my father. You know what I mean? I do think that there is a difference when you're an adult in terms of like, he is a confidant for me, but he's not my friend in the sense of I just got to job about everything.
Holy Ghost.
But parents do be trying to convict their children, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's true, especially they grown children.
Let me clean my glasses off on that one.
For a lot of people, that's true. Just because you're grown doesn't mean your parents are not trying to convict you.
Parents, don't cut us off from the podcast. Please don't cut us off. We're gonna be good.
You stand your ground for your peers. You better start. You said what?
We're losing viewers before we even get started.
No, but I want to go back to something because you were talking about the TMI thing, just like that openness and that candidness.
Absolutely.
And how you didn't really, that wasn't something that you had
envisioned,
foreshadowed,
right?
Envisioned for yourself with your kids. And then what is the irony that you have that with your only daughter? I'm not saying, so for our neighbors, we decided you guys are our neighbors.
Yeah, we're building community.
Yeah, you guys are our neighbors. So for the neighbors, I am one of 3 and the other 2 are brothers, boys. So how interesting is it? Men, sorry, Tim and Elijah, men. How interesting is it to you that you have that type of relationship with their only daughter? Not saying you don't have it with my brothers, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, every offspring brings something different. I think all of you all have part of myself inside of you. What you carry is the communication aspect. I'm a very vocal person at times. I can get emotional. I can do the TMI real quick. And I think that's the part of me that you got. Each one of you all got something different from me.
Yeah.
And I think, so I'm not surprised that one of you all have it. I guess the surprise was that the female version of me showed up.
What is that like? Like that mirror?
Ooh. Any parent out there that has raised sons and or daughters, know there's a vast difference. Vast difference. You have taken me on an emotional roller coaster. Roller coaster of love.
This is funny. Also, like the difference in age, because you know how you went there? I went to Vivian Green emotional roller coaster.
Oh, Vivian Green. I don't know about no Vivian Green. I went to Ohio Players.
Yeah, so we're spanning decades here.
Because that's part of this part of this podcast. We're going to bridge decades. We're going to speak from 2 different perspectives and find the common ground that has always connected the generations. Sometimes we focus on what disconnects us instead of what connects us. So this Podding with Dad is about finding the bridge that links us 2 generations back to each other. Because our communication, I may say something and it has a totally different meaning in your generation.
1,000%. 1,000%.
All of that.
I think that is something, though, I think that's been unique and special about our relationship is that I think we've always been able to find some type of common ground. And I think that's really, I know that's really kudos to you. Because I think as a parent, you have kind of got eye level with me through all the stages of life to make sure that I still felt seen, valued, heard. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's on the parent when it comes to that parent-offspring dynamic.
It is now, but
I might not have the capability to rise to where you... I'm saying when I was younger, I might not have had the capacity or the bandwidth to rise to where you were.
But there'll come a time that you will have to get eye level with me as I begin to age. See, there's a dynamic that goes on in life that we don't navigate well sometimes. There are times where the offspring now becomes more responsible parenting. I know we don't like to talk about that, but that's a reality. Because we're in a stage right now that our parents, my mom is 97. Your grandmother's 97. And we're having to do for her some things that she cannot do for herself. So, in a way, and she may not accept it, but we're parenting in a way. Now that's a hard pill, and I'm trying to prepare myself. If I ever get to be 97, I want to be able not to be a hindrance to the process, but I help.
I hope you make it to 97 if you're in good enough health.
Yeah, well, yeah. If
it's selfish of me to say that, though.
Yeah, I don't. I don't want to be in diapers, but I will.
What? No, ain't no shame in my game.
Game. I'll wear some diapers.
I think that
listen, I'll be riding in that car, my eyes will roll back in my head. I'm just having a moment in my diaper. Too much information.
That visual.
Too much.
Yeah, that visual was crazy.
We just dropped some more views. Come on back to the neighborhood, everybody. Come back.
Eyes back in your head is crazy.
We cannot be some of those neighbors that drive off our neighbors.
We probably will be though.
Okay, well I hope not. I'm not going to. You will.
It's not intentional. Charge it to our head, not our heart. As the old saints say.
Old saints say.
That's one of my favorite. That is one of my favorite. No, that's one of my favorite, like old saint, like saying isms, whatever you call it. I love that. Charge to my heart.
Charge it to my head, not my heart.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I eat that one up.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's an old faithful. We need to keep that going.
Still paying for it. Whether it's your head or not, you're still paying. So does it matter?
I mean, it does though, because okay. Because you ready?
Let's get it.
Because then one would ask, does that mean that intention doesn't matter? Because to me, that's what that saying means. Like, it was not my intention to forget about you. Most times when I hear that, it's in the context of it slipped my mind.
I get it. But the scripture says the heart is deceitfully wicked. Who can know it?
Get that Bible.
I got to go there.
Get that Bible.
I got place else to go. To go.
Oh, you just added like another layer, because then if my heart is deceitfully wicked, that means that intention is deceitfully wicked if it came from that heart. Just means that you can trust it.
It is out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks.
You're moving the goalpost a little bit though, because we weren't talking about the mouth. We were talking about the mind forgetting.
We were talking about the heart. You said don't charge it to my mind, not my heart. I'm
right.
The heart.
I know, but I'm saying charge it to my mind that I forgot about you, but you're forever in my heart.
To pay for what it's doing.
Wait, so then if you don't want the heart to pay for it, who pays for it?
Well, you said charge it to my head, not my heart. So you give your head a bill that your heart has made. Shut your mouth. Come on, y'all. This is the type of conversations we having. That's what.
Y'all, that's his version of an air horn. I don't know if we talked about the air horn yet.
Hey, you giving me mosquito sets.
Don't put that air horn on me yet.
Do that from the podium one day at the pulpit.
Not if it sounds like that. Because I don't want you saying that my daughter...
And not myself.
No. No, I'm not taking that one.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that one. Do you have any expectations for Podding with Dad?
You know what? What my expectation is simply that you and I will continue to develop this communication, that we will explore things. I don't have expectations as it relates to viewers or listeners. I don't. Whoever comes, they come. It's just like, a neighborhood. You want the right type of neighbor, but you can't control your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a neighborhood watch it. Whoever comes. This is an inclusive neighborhood. Now, that's a word that so scares some folks, but this is an inclusive neighborhood. This is a woke neighborhood. This is a woke neighborhood. We don't want nobody sleeping in the neighborhood.
Define woke.
Where you are aware. You are aware of self and self in your environment.
Accountability in the neighborhood.
Accountability, responsibility, capacity, opportunity, perspective.
All the things.
All the things. Get up. I'm that lawnmower at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, out there cutting grass.
At 6 a.m.?
No, I don't cut no grass at no 6 a.m.
Disruptor.
Whoa. Now that's a whole different topic. We all should be disruptors of the staff.
In what way?
Jesus was a disruptor.
Yeah.
And if I'm following
Jesus was shaking tables, literally.
If I'm following Jesus, I must also be a disruptor.
But you know why a lot of people, I feel like, struggle to be disruptors, myself included, because we don't want to disrupt our own life first. You know what I mean?
Or we don't want to be judged by people. We're trying to find acceptance. So we don't want to disrupt what we're trying to be accepted by. You can only disrupt what you don't care about, or you care enough about to change it.
That's what I was going to say, the caring enough, because that's where I was going with it. I've been learning within myself that when I care enough about it to do the hard thing, to get to the other side of it, the freedom that I taste on the other side of it, it overrides the fear. So I might still struggle with people pleasing. I might still be scared, but I want you to experience, you get what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like revelation. So I'm still going to try to tell you, even if I'm nervous. But if I keep that for myself.
Go ahead. Yeah, I got you. Scripture says, for the joy that was set before Jesus, he endured the cross. So there's something about seeing the other side that gives you the propensity and desire to go through whatever you got to go through.
That leads me to a good thing I want to incorporate in these episodes, which is like a check-in, like a posture check-in. So with that, what you were saying about the joy that was set before him, where would you say your joy hope meter is in life right now?
You know what? This is going to shock some. I try not to. We taught you all, have bad moments, never have bad days.
Uh-huh.
And I've tried to live that. When people ask me, how you doing? I say, I'm wonderful. They look at me crazy, and I'm not just, I'm seriously, I'm wonderful. I have bad moments. I have challenges like everybody else, but that does not dictate my emotional state. I have to take control of that.
Uh-huh.
And that comes with my value system. I thought I had some money in my pocket. I was going to pull out talking about value system.
You going to do a money spread?
Huh?
Do a money spread? You know what that is?
No, I don't know about no money spread. What's the money spread? Making it rain?
No, that's not. No, making it rain is making it rain. Is when you take your bills and you spread them up your arm.
No, my bills belong in my.
I hope that you guys are, if you're listening audibly, I hope that you make your way to the YouTube so you can see how stuck he was. That silence you heard, he was just like,
you making
like, why would you spread your money up your arm?
But you making money, Seth.
You know, you do a nice little spread on the ground. A little.
No, I pick money up off the ground. I don't put money on the ground. Listen. And they say money don't grow on trees unless you plant it in muddy mud.
Money mud?
Yeah, that's the only way money gonna grow on trees. You got to have money.
I never heard the second part of that.
Well, I don't know if it's the second part. I just, hey.
Did you make that up?
I don't know if I made it up or not. Just came out. Because sometimes you repeat things in the recesses of your mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on tonight? Why are we here tonight? We're introducing, we're dropping our first segment or episode to our neighborhood, our community. Is there anything, when are we dropping the first?
If you're hearing this, chances are it's Father's Day. If I got my editing together, okay. Happy Father's Day to the fathers.
Father's Day pieces, and more than Father's Day, Dad Day. I think there's a difference between fathers and dad. Anybody can father, but only those who are committed dad.
You're saying that father is the science behind it.
Father,
and dad is the present, the investment, the impartation.
Absolutely. Dad is that intimate connection with what has been planted and stewarding it until it grows to maturity. That's daddy.
What was it in you that made you decide that you wanted to dad, not father?
I guess when your mama got pregnant. I'm being honest with you. I'm committed to this journey of evolution as a man. So I went a child to a young boy to adolescence, adolescence to young man to man, man to husband, husband to father. So it was a natural progression in the evolution. And I wanted to be a present dad. I wanted to be present in the lives of my offspring.
Yeah, but I guess that's what I want to like say, or I want to dig deep into is like, what was it that made you want to be present? Because like how you said, like when mom got pregnant, but there's people who live in like the same households, 2-parent households, and their dad might not be like as present as their mom is, or you get what I mean? Like you have different scenarios. So it makes me wonder if that is a decision that mother makes to be a certain, to mother her kids. That father makes the decision to dad, in your terms, his children,
Yeah, but I think, and I don't know what kind of neighbors we have right now, but I think it's the dad's responsibility, the father's responsibility to set the tone for the household. I do. I think just from the natural anatomy, males are givers, the females are receivers, just by the anatomy. So I wanted to make sure, as a male, that I created a space for not only my wife, but the potential mother of my children, plus the children that woman will produce from me, to have a safe place for them to be nurtured and discover yourself. I wanted to make sure that we raised up individuals who sought for themselves, who was not afraid to go out and venture out and try new things in the context of safety. You're okay. You're okay. And the one thing that I did not want to bring from my generation is that we were taught to be seen and not heard. Our parents would not allow us to engage in conversations like we're having now. Some from my generation, our parents was very, it was, look, if this type of conversation, we would see them, but they were so foreign to us. When the offspring spoke to their parents like we talk now, that was so foreign to us. We thought it was disrespectful. We thought it was disrespectful until I got older. I'm thinking, I want to know what my offsprings are thinking. I want to know what my children are thinking, where they're at. I want to make sure that I invest myself in what they're invested in, so that we have conversations. I can learn what you're talking about. You can learn from me. You all taught me how to love without condition.
What's one of, when people talk, I be listening and following and questions be popping up. I feel like once a journalist, always a journalist. Even if you leave that field, I think what it takes to be a journalist mentally, you're always prepared for follow-ups.
I don't know if it's journalism or you just being nosy.
It's not nosy. A good journalist is no person.
You were born a journalist because you was always asking.
Too much. Not too much. Not too much.
So
cool off for me. I do want to ask you what you were saying about investing and what we are invested in. I feel like you've done a really good job at that. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about the common ground. But I'm curious, what's something that I was invested in that it kind of pulled your arm a little bit, or it's kind of like I really don't care about this, but let me explore it enough to be able. Huh?
What was it?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, was there anything that you got in?
Yeah, is there anything that comes to mind that I was invested in, I really cared about, and it really was kind of like a struggle for you to like
your whole life? No. You know what? I tell you, you took me in a different direction because boys gravitate. Most of them gravitate to some type of athletic. And some women do too now. You know what I'm saying? But you took me into a creative space that I had occupied, but I had not fully explored. When you were eighth grade, I think it was, you was in Power the Pen.
Yeah.
I never told you, I used to love to drive you to those competitions. I used to enjoy watching you go off into a room, given a subject, and then you cut and write, right on that subject. I hated to see you try to play soccer in sports. That just
I don't have an athletic bone in my body.
No, she always wanted to do karate.
I think that's hereditary because my mama did karate.
You know what?
Big shout out to Cass.
Shin kick.
You said what?
The shin kick. You couldn't get your legs up no higher than the shed. So
I was a chubby kid.
I
was a little round.
Yeah, you was Chubupski.
Wasn't flexible.
Chubupski. I know some big girls that's flex now.
No. I said, and I wasn't flexible. I'm not putting that on anybody. I'm saying I had limitations because I was not flexible.
We don't have no big girls in our neighborhood. We just have people.
Right. No, we're not talking about weight. We're talking about my lack of flexibility. Okay. That's always been the case. No matter what my size was, I'm not a flexible person.
Yeah, you somewhat clumsy at times.
Somewhat. Okay. Big clumsy.
Okay, I'm glad.
I was here the other day, just here to tell the truth.
No. But I don't know, Brianna, if there was any area of your life that you presented an opportunity for me to walk in with you that was somewhat challenging. It was challenging. For those of you who don't know, with Breon, when she came into our lives, her mom went back to work. I was just starting in ministry, and we just came into agreement that it would be better that one of us would raise, because my contract ended, and then we were in ministry, and I was going to look for another job, but her mom already had a job and was pretty stable there. So she went back to work as I raised Bria. So I was, I guess, a stay-home dad for your first 2 years. And so I was with you from the time that your mom went back to work after, I don't know how many weeks it was after she had you. And I was with you when your umbilical cord fell off, the whole gamut, your first steps, all of that. So I think that was probably the most frightening time for my relationship with you, but it was also one of the most precious because we got a chance to bond. I would take you with me everywhere I went. I remember the one time that I dropped you off, and forget the stories, neighbors, but we're letting you into our world. I had a meeting I had to go to, and I sought out someone who said they would watch you. And I dropped you off in the home, and the home was nice, pristine. And this is no lie. I was on my way to my meeting. So I dropped you off maybe an hour earlier so I can get myself together. I was on my way to the meeting, which was probably about an hour and 45 minutes after I dropped you off. And I heard you cry. I literally heard you cry. And the Holy Spirit says, you better go back. And I drove way back out into, I want to say Bloomfield. Was it Bloom? It was someplace up north from Warren. And I knocked on the door. The house was full of children. There was nobody when I dropped you off, but her 2 children. When I came back, the house was full of children, and you were standing in the corner crying. And I picked you up. I said, come on, let's go.
Was I like, how old was I roughly?
Probably two. And she begged me, no, she's fine. I said, no. She's going with me. Because I did not want to put you in the hands of someone who could not give you the attention that I thought that you needed. I wouldn't mind a couple of more children, but the house was full of children, and I understood then this was this woman's livelihood. And she stretched. There had to be about 9 to 10 kids in that home when I came back. And you were standing in the corner crying. And she was shocked when she saw me. Because the agreement was you were staying all day. Didn't work for us.
That's interesting, though, that you could hear me crying.
Well, Bria, I saw you, and this may scare some of our neighbors, but there's a hearing that goes on inside of me in the spirit. There's also a seeing that goes on inside of me in the spirit. I saw you before you were born, before your mom was pregnant. I was driving down Route 46 in Warren, and actually in Niles out by the mall. And I had a Lincoln Continental at the time. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and you were sitting in the car seat in the back. I saw you twice. And I knew you were going to be a girl. I saw you sitting in the back seat, and I literally had to turn around and look. It was just that vivid. The second time I saw you, maybe a couple of months later, I was at your grandmother's house. And she had went into the kitchen. I was sitting on the sofa, and I turned, and you were holding on to the end of the table, trying to get your balance. Because we were trying to have children to all of our neighbors.
My wife and myself, we were told that we would not have children. That's what we were told. And Breon didn't come until after our 7-year marriage. You came 7 years after we had married. So we were able to lay a strong foundation, and we tried a lot of things to have children, but it never happened. And so I knew we were going to have children. The doctor said we could. But I knew what I had saw. I didn't know how it was going to happen, other than the fact that me and your mom was going to produce it. That adoption was not part of our plan. Not that I'm against adoption. If God had not opened up your mom's womb, then we probably would have adopted. I don't know. But I knew that you were coming. I knew you were coming. So when you came, I would tap on your mama's stomach every day and talk to you from the time that we found out you were in your mother's womb. She hated it. Every day I tapped on the stomach and talked, hey, you and that, this is your dad. And I would carry on. I would come home from work because I was working at the time that your mom was pregnant. I would come home and tap on her stomach because your mom was totally sick with you. She had gestational diabetes. Your mom had a difficult time carrying you. You almost killed my wife.
Almost gave her a heart attack a few times after.
You've been trying to murder my wife, and
whereas I always joke. So there's an age gap between all of the white side kids, and me and my younger brother are 6 years apart. And I always joke and say that I truly had to walk so he could run, in good ways and in bad ways. I think that I definitely. No, I mean, I do think that the older kid in the house at the time breaks the parents in a little bit.
Well, I agree. I totally agree, because we practice on you and we perfected on him. And in the perfection of it, you feel that you got shorted because he was afforded opportunities that you may not have been given.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. But I also think, too, Elijah, just being the youngest, saw what to do and what not to do. You get what I mean? Oh, yeah. Like, it's a roadmap for you.
Oh, yeah. And that's just, and I think that's the responsibility of every firstborn in a household.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the cool dynamic of family. I really do. That we all pioneer certain areas and we all steward certain areas, and we do it in such a way that we're trying to make it better for the whole.
I think maybe like a final-esque question I want to ask you is that, speaking of pioneering, what would you say you're most proud that you pioneered for our family? I was stuttering a little bit because I'm trying to think it through here. I was glitching in real time. But that might be a loaded question, so I guess whatever comes to your mind first.
Yeah, I don't always say what comes to my mind first. I don't think that's always good. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like, I'm taking the pressure off you having to name one thing, and that's the only thing is what I'm trying to do.
I don't feel any pressure.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, neighbors, this is every day between us. I say something, he says something back. I'm like,
I want to get honest quality answer. What did I pioneer? I hope that I have pioneered what a true man and a man that loves his God looks like, which means that for my sons, I have been a man of God. In that order, I'm a male, I'm a man of God, I'm a husband, and I'm a father. I hope that I have pioneered for all of my offspring what it looks like to be a man. In your case, what it looks like to receive a man. Because I've always taught myself first and then other men that your daughters will find a man like you. So you want to make sure that you give them the right example to look for. Now that's not always the case. That's not always the case. I understand that God has given all of us choice, but I think that there needs to be some type of blueprint in front of, because if you choose to go away from the blueprint, it's not that you did not have a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen me, and some people may say, well, I didn't prepare you well. You've never seen me and your mom go at it. And we've gone at it. Because what we've learned to do is fight the issues and not each other. That's what we've learned to do. We don't fight each other. We fight the issue. So that once the issues is resolved, me and her still cool. So I never attacked her. She never attacked me. We attack the issue. Now, if the issue comes from you, then we're still attacking the issue, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Say things like, when you do this. So we're attacking what you do and not necessarily you. So I hope to have pioneered what a good husband looks like, what a good man looks like, first of all, what a godly man looks like. That godly man who's a husband and who's a father.
Mm-hmm.
And then a member of society. I tried to keep my name clean in our neighborhood. People may not like your dad, but they can't say many bad things about your dad.
Yeah.
They may disagree with your dad. And more power to them. I'm not looking for agreement, but I am looking for acceptance. And what I mean by acceptance is that I have never wrongfully hurt anybody. I've never not since I've been born again. I can't.
Wrongfully? Do you mean like you've never like intentionally
Right.
hurt anybody?
I have never sought since my born again experience, and I put a pin there because pre-Christ, everybody was a potential victim.
It was like if you broke.
Everybody was a victim. There were only 3 men in my life that was not victims outside of my family. Only 3. Everybody else potential victims. So
Get into your maybe no. But maybe one episode I think would be your born again experience. I think that it's good to share. And in the context, I would like to talk about it in the context of your experience and then maybe my experience of growing up in the faith.
Well, yeah, I think we can do.
Well, they're 2 different worlds, but there's a lot of similarities though, and I think it's a lot of similarities that people don't talk about for children that have grown up in the faith. You still have waywardness. You still, because you're, you know what I'm saying? You have your flesh. You still have things to work out.
Yeah.
But it might be different than your traditional, what you would normally think you would hear in testimony services. You know what I mean?
One of the things that your mom and myself, we agreed upon, because it was prophesied to us, for those in the neighborhood who don't believe in prophecies, okay, you can close your windows or pull down the blinds for this. It was prophesied to us in 1988 that at the birthing of the ministry, at the birthing of your daughter, God is going to birth a ministry. 1988. So we made an agreement that if God would take us into ministry, that we would not allow our children to suffer because of ministry. I never allowed my marriage to suffer because of ministry. I've always taught myself and believed that the church is the bride of Jesus. My bride's name is Cassandra, and I can't get them twisted. That ministry.
He says ministry, not to cut you off, Daddy, but when he says ministry, he is talking about pastoring. I just want to be clear about what you did.
Yeah, pastor for a church that we founded, but we committed that our children would be raised not in a sterile environment, but an authentic environment. I thought authenticity for you all. I never allowed the congregation to put pressure on you all. Your son's going to be this, your daughter's going to be that, she's going to be part of this and part of that. No, they have their own journeys. My responsibility, my stewardship was to give you an example of what faith looks like. Mm-hmm. Put my faith on you
to steward you up in faith, but at some point you had to take on the stewardship of your faith. So I just wanted to make sure that it was authentic, that we loved each other. Your mama never walked around the house and called me pastor or bishop. I like Bay. See, I didn't marry your mama to be a member of a church. I married her to be my wife, my confidant, my partner in life. And that's what we try to do. And we brought you all up in that type of nurturing environment. We told the congregation, you're not going to put pressure on these kids because I don't put pressure on your babies. You're not going to pressure my babies. They're going to have their own experiences, and we're going to all take this journey together. And we did.
Yeah, I think if I had to say something, one of my favorite things that you pioneered for us, I think would be your intentionality as a father. I think with you being my father, I will always know that men have the capacity and the bandwidth if they choose to cultivate. I'm not saying it as if it's easy, but they have the wherewithal within them if they do the appropriate work to be a very present father, to be influential in their children's life, to know what's going on, all of those things. Because like I said, I think dads don't always get the best rep in society, especially in like homes, people of color. A lot of the narrative is the dad's not there. Or if he is there, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. You get what I mean? So I think that you being my father, me growing up in a household with you, pioneered and trailblazed against all of that for me. So when there's a lot of societal noise, I can always go within and know what you have demonstrated and know that if you exist on this earth, that means that there's somebody else for me to marry and have children with that. You know what I'm saying? We'll carry that forward.
Yeah, and I agree. But you know what? Sometimes men, they're not fathers.
I think a lot of men are not fathers.
They have capacity. They have never been shown the responsibility. I call it spiritual crops. Capacity, responsibility, opportunities, and perspective. And a lot of times we all are created with the capacity. But if they have not been shown the responsibility of how to steward it, then they don't look for the opportunities. Their attention and their capacity has been redirected.
Yeah.
So my dad was present as a provider, but not much as a nurturer because he didn't have a father.
Mm-hmm.
His father left him. He gave me what he had. And I want to say that to all of the listeners or viewers, you have to take whatever has been given to you and nurture that. Steward what's been given to you. Now, if it's the wrong thing that's been given, you need to find somebody that could put the right thing in you or to set at least the right example. Because I father not just you all, I father a lot of folks in your generation and the generations to come. I think that my fathering went far beyond my paternal family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I practiced on you all, I guess. And now that I won't say successfully, I don't even know what to say. I've stewarded the opportunity to rear these offsprings that God gave your mom and myself. And now God is expanding that territory and giving us young folks in our lives who may not have had an opportunity to be fathered by someone.
Do you feel like that same thing happened to you somewhere in your life in terms of where you were able to maybe pick up different things? How, like you said, Chief, neighbors, that's what we call my grandfather. Like how you said Chief might have not been natural at being a nurturer. Did you see other men along the way that were nurturers?
Listen, God brought a man in my life. My spiritual father came into my life and gave me tools that I use. that I still use to this day. I'm grateful for him. We're not connected like we once were. Probably the onus is on me. Because I'm not cut from the type of cloth that they're cut from. And I don't know if what I am or who I am authentically fits into a mold, but it doesn't mean that I love him any less. But yeah, God brought a man into my life, and I was around him. I watched him from a distance. I watched him up close, asked questions, but more than anything else, I was watching. I picked up lessons from watching, but even that relationship was unique because I think that he was feeling a deficiency in his own life from gathering us. And I won't go deeper into that, but I want to say this. I believe it's the father's responsibility to give to the children, to lay up for the children, not the children's responsibility to lay up for the parents. And whatever my offsprings do to me or for me or give me, I think it's because they honor and respect me, but it's not demanded. And when you find someone that demands the offspring or the children, natural or spiritual, to do for their parents, I think that's out of order. I think it's really out of order. So I'm always trying to give, and the scripture teaches, Jesus taught, although you can't find the actual teaching itself in the confines of what we call the Bible. Paul says he taught it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I think it's the father's responsibility to always release, to pour into. So whatever comes back is because the offsprings either honor it or, respect or reciprocate it, but it should never be demanded. It should never be demanded that a father tells his offspring, you got to do these things for me.
Anything, or you owe me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So when you be taking like our food for taxes and stuff, we don't got to do that no more?
Oh no, y'all stopped doing that a long time ago.
Dad, please. I can come to your house right now with something and you're going to ask for something and say it's taxes.
If I think I like it, But when you come into a foreign country, you always have to pay taxes.
Your home is not a foreign country.
You have your own place?
I do, but
this is foreign country now.
That's not how that works.
You can't just come in my home. Do I come in your home and take over?
No, but you probably came in my home and went in my fridge.
I've only been in a refrigerator maybe a few times when I was cooking.
It ain't really much in there, so.
In there. That's what I noticed. I said, this ain't no.
Yeah, I must say, look, it ain't really a lot going on.
The first 2 times I went in, I said, this ain't no place I want to be venturing into. So I don't give myself a refrigerator. So,
I think, there's a lot to be said about fathering, dadding, whatever you want to call it. I think that it's imperative that the male is present, not just physically present, but has a presence.
Yeah.
And the foundation, the blueprint of the home. I know they say, the home is the woman's, the man's castle, but it's the woman's whatever. But I think it's the father who sets the tone for the house. I do. And I always wanted to make sure that our home was a place of love, a place of laughter, a place of authenticity. And I can honestly say to you that you all have had some fun in this home growing up. There was a lot of laughter. We practiced laughter in our home.
Yeah.
And I think a testament to any father is that when their offspring loves to come home.
Yeah.
That's a testament to, if your babies don't like to come home, sir, you probably did not do well creating an environment.
That's true. And you have created a great environment.
And I want y'all to go home when y'all come home.
Y'all, he be so quick. And we'll be sitting there for maybe 2-3 hours. He'd be like, so happy you're home. So, when do you plan on leaving? Like,
Listen,
excuse me, I have to put my bag down.
The scripture teaches us you should not stay 2 to 3 days with nobody.
Why do you keep bringing this up?
What? Because I want
you're
you
like spamming that.
I want you to always feel welcome.
You've heard not if I have 2 days.
You've heard the adage, don't wear out your welcome.
The what?
You've heard when people say, do not wear out your welcome.
You call it an adage? Is that what those are called?
I don't know. I don't know. You have to look it up. You're a journalist.
Yeah, but I'm still working on my vocab a little bit.
It's not the word neighborhood. If it's not the proper word, then so be it.
Charge it to his head, not his heart.
Don't charge it to me at all. Because I ain't paying for it. Or I'm not paying for it. I refuse to pay.
Not paying shits, eh? I think that this is going to be an interesting journey together.
I think
working together in this creative space, interesting in a good way. I think this is going to be fun. Opening this up to community, building community, a safe space for all of us. My hope is that we have an active community that we get to pull from them. You know what I mean? And really just navigate life together on this show.
I join you with that.
That's a hope, not an expectation. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I would love to have a synergy.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, I'm one that likes small spaces, intimate spaces. I mean, I'm just as comfortable in a large space as I am in a small space, but my preference is a small space. I don't like big cities. I like to go to big cities, but I don't want to live in a big city.
Yeah, less noise.
Yeah, I like smaller spaces. So, and I appreciate you pushing me or inviting me to this new space. I appreciate it. I'm looking for some exciting conversations. That's going to come from it.
Me too.
And I'm going to
Me too.
Yeah, I'm going to learn more than I'm going to come up with some new air horns.
Y'all, pray that he gets his air horns together by the next.
But why do you compare my air horns to somebody else's? My breath ain't the same.
What?
Oh.
What I'm saying? You can just slap a glory to God on there.
I know about you. The Bible says in all things give thanks. In all things give thanks.
Oh, this is Mr. Have a Scripture for everything.
Well, listen, my goal in life is to live by the Spirit. Not just the word, but by the Spirit.
Hello.
Yep. Well, listen, guys, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. I'm Dad.
I'm Bree. That was our first episode. Mine isn't good either. Hello. Talking that mess, throwing that, what is it? Well, I'm about to say rocks at a glass house. I don't know. This is, start to wrap it up.
Yeah.
On it. This was our first episode of Poddin with Dad. We're so grateful that you guys came to hang out in the neighborhood with us. We cannot wait to just continue the conversation. So, in the meantime, between time. What do the saints say?
What?
What do the saints say between...
The saints?
Yeah, you know the saying in church. Like the benediction, the closing, like between me and you or between me and thee.
May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another.
Boom! May he do it. Amen. Love you, Dad. I'll talk to you later.